Hello, beautiful family. Welcome again to One Global Movement Speak with Heart, where we have devoted our lives to help women, children, and young people eradicate hunger, illiteracy, and poverty. Thank you guys so much for being here again today. And we are here, we're going to improvise here today because for some reason, sometimes the microphone or something is not working, that is the way of life. So you're going to be hearing Sister Yvonne speaking, but it might be a little bit faint because we're going to speak over the phone as well. So I am on the phone with her. When it's her turn, you will also hear her speaking from the phone. So pay attention, please. All right. So thank you guys so much again for coming here, and I wish you all the very best. So we are now in a new series, which is theme 2, formed before we are asked series. Formed before we are asked series. The focus here is moral and social formation before formal responsibility. That is the focus here. Moral and social formation before formal responsibility. And so, since we didn't read the mission statement last week, so we're going to have our beautiful sister here read that so that we keep reminding ourselves of why we are here, why we were created in the first place, and what is our purpose in life. It is so important because that is something that we have to remind ourselves daily, including our children. So the series, we're going to start with series 1, form before we are asked. Series 1, becoming before belonging. Becoming before belonging. How identity forms long before service roles appear. How you form your identity. Remember, you were created with an identity. How you work on it to form it, and then before services appear. So, sister, your turn.
Okay, thank you, sister. And so I'm just going to go right into it. So, the vision and mission statement of One Global Movement is really to support this generation that's coming up, right? And we, we use ourselves as models, the adults. One Global Movement will support any organization or group or individual that aligns with its global vision and mission, which is as follows. The mission of One Global Movement is to empower young people, children, and women worldwide with a focus on young women, providing them with the tools and the sustainable solutions that will help them eradicate hunger, illiteracy, and poverty, build generational wealth while living a life of leadership and purpose. We believe that every child deserves access to nutritious food, quality education, and opportunities to thrive. So, through global collaborative efforts, innovative programs, and community engagement programs, we strive to break the cycle of hunger, illiteracy, poverty, and to build a future where every child can build on their own hopes and dreams while reaching their full potential. Together, through divine intervention, love, and clean, safe, and valuable technology, we can create such a world where no child goes to bed hungry, no child is denied an education, and no child is limited to poverty or to any condition that is not of their own making. It is possible. So our gratitude and thanksgiving goes to our divine creator, who is our ultimate provider and who has promised to supply us abundantly, not just for ourselves, but to do good works by helping uplift and care for all of humanity. We thank everyone who supports OGM, One Global Movement, and wish us all success in our various world changing endeavors. And that is our vision and mission here on One Global Movement. We thank you for
Thank you so much,
supporting us.
sister.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I hear an echo, which means, anyways, the mic is working, so I don't know what the problem is. Anyways, so you want me to take the lead on this discussion today, or you want to
Yeah, of
start? What do you
course.
want?
Yeah, we can start from any angle. You can take the lead. That's good.
Okay, so this is another huge, great topic, and it seems so simple, but let's go with it. It says, in my estimation, I want to start with this observation. In a world of global movements and social impact, we are obsessed with slots. We have slots for everything. We like to slot people into slots as well, but people don't fit into slots, right? We have slots for volunteers, slots for leaders, slots for activists. We want to give everything a cover, right? We look at Gen Z and we see a generation of doers waiting for a role. But before we make them into those roles, they have to know what they are and who they are. But there is a danger in giving a young person a role before they have a soul deep understanding of their own identity. Is that not true? They have to know who they are. And here is what happens when you are slotted into roles before your identity is formed. When an individual is assigned a role before developing a strong personal identity, it often leads to a phenomenon known as role confusion or an identity crisis. And this can result in a fragile sense of self, difficulty making commitments, and potential mental health issues because they don't know who they are. And people will tell you who you are if you don't know who you are. At One Global Movement, we recognize that what should be an obvious truth, and that is Gen Z does not grow in a vacuum, and neither did we. Nobody grows up in a vacuum. They are formed by the atmosphere we, the adults, create. If we focus on belonging, getting them into a club, into a role, into uniform, into all kinds of things before we focus on becoming, the forging of their characters, we aren't building leaders. We are building exhausted performance because they won't know who they are. Today, we're going to be exploring becoming and why becoming must come first. So the architect of formation, that's the second part I want to talk about. Why does becoming matter? Because a role is a borrowed suit. It can be taken away at any time. A project can end, a funding stream can dry up. If a young person's value is tied only on their belonging to this movement or to that club, etc., what happens when they leave it? They collapse, they become lost.
Yep.
But becoming is about the quiet work. It's the values they choose when the camera is off. As the adults in the room, we are the identity guardians. Gen Z is watching us. They aren't just listening to our content. They aren't just listening to what we say. They are watching our becoming. We are the models. Do they see us anchor ourselves in integrity when a project fails? Do they see us value people over productivity? If we want them to become something solid, they need to see a solid reflection in us. We are the architects of the environment where their identity is either protected or pressured. And in the third part, the belonging trap. There is a trap we often fall into. We offer belonging as a shortcut. We say, join us and you will find yourself. But it's the other way around. You know who you are before you join anything. But true belonging is only possible when you have a self to bring to the table. Otherwise, it's just fitting in, and that's dangerous. Fitting in is changing who you are to be accepted. Belonging is being who you are and then finding your tribe, your group, your section, your project, whatever. That does not mean we tell them who they are to become, but they are enabled to make their choices based on their values, driven by their integrity and what they think is right. For Gen Z, the pressure to fit into the algorithm, to the peer group, to the cause, it is suffocating. And our role at One Global Movement isn't just to give them a task. It's to give them an inner permission, as you mentioned yesterday, sister, an inner permission to be under construction, just as you said yesterday in your presentation. So please, go ahead and jump right in. Your turn.
Yes, these topics are so beautiful. When you say we are their identity before their service roles in the world, this is very, very vital. And this is a call for all parents, young or older, adults, all institutions, all businesses, everyone, everyone, whether you have biological children or not, it is a call for us because whatever these children are exhibiting in the world, knowingly or unknowingly, it starts from the roots, and the roots are us here.
It is. It
And
is.
so it's so important. And it's not like you know everything or we know everything. We have to keep learning. But the foundation, the fundamentals of what your identity has been laid. It is left for us to really amplify it and keep working on ourselves and these children. This is very important. And so here is the opening truth. Identity precedes assignment. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Identity precedes assignment. We will have to help. How will you help? How did you know who you are? You see, some people, they are so confident in the world. They are so confident in whatever they are doing, whether they fail or they succeed, whether they have or they don't have, whether whatever. I'm sorry for the echo, but this is the way we're going to work today. I'm really sorry. So
Yes.
it is so important that we build this kind of confident identity in these children, knowing who they are before the assignment come, before their studies, before friendship, before community work, before anything else. They need to know that even if I know how to read this, if I don't know how to read this book, guess what? Knowing who I am, I will learn how to read it. And regardless of who says what, I will know that is what it means. And that is the truth. Identity precedes assignment. It means it comes before
Yes.
assignment. You have to become, all right, before you
Yes.
belong. Very, very
Yes.
important. So
Mm-hmm.
before we are useful, we are human. We got to be human. Because I know I'm guilty. Sometimes we push these children to the wall, say things that would degrade them or put them down, but
Yeah.
without knowing that we all are human. And that is
Mm.
why when we do something, guess what? God forgives us a million times, but we still make those mistakes.
Yes, we
And
do.
that is why we need to also embrace these children because no one knows it all. Before we belong, we are becoming always.
Always.
Before the world asks for our service, life asks for our own formation. How were you formed? What are your values?
Yeah.
How were you brought up? But sometimes we were not brought up well, not because our parents were bad people, but because they didn't know better. But now that the world is developing, with all these great resources that we can help ourselves with, we have to always learn to become better and better. But identity is not a title. It is not a title. It is a root system, a root. It starts from the very bare minimum, from the cradle, and even from the stomach. It
Yes.
is a root
Yes.
system. And one global movement says no one can give what they have not yet become. Like we hear the common saying, sister, you cannot give what you don't have. And that is so
You
true.
cannot.
When
You
you hear
cannot. You
somebody
cannot.
say, I love you, I do this, talking so nicely and really respecting you, paying attention to you when you're talking, that's exactly what they have. And when you
Yes.
hear somebody ranting and talking, making noise, all these big noises here and there, that's exactly what they have. And
Yeah.
a person that knows their identity or their self-worth, they're not even going
Mm-hmm.
to respond. They're going to look for a way to do something that with the hope
That.
that that person will learn from them. And this is so important. So at One Global Movement, we hold these truths sacred, very sacred, with
Yes.
divine intervention. Healthy service flows from whole identity. That's why when some people say, how can you be working on hunger, illiteracy, and poverty? I say because you cannot build a child or help build a child's identity only from one angle. It has to be holistic. It has
Absolutely.
to be, otherwise you will be neglecting some aspect and not the other. It's just like raising a baby or
Yeah.
raising a toddler. It is the same. It's just like you talking to me, and then I'll be answering, and then I'll be answering, and then you're thinking, okay, she understood and she was really paying attention and answering, not knowing what was going on in my mind. That the next moment I start asking the same question. And we should be patient in really trying to help even a million times. And that is why One Global Movement is here. So the danger of belonging What is the danger of belonging without becoming? There's a lot of danger in that. Belonging is very powerful, right? It is
Mm-hmm.
powerful, but belonging without becoming is dangerous.
It is, of
Like
course.
sister said before, you
Yeah.
said you cannot belong without
Knowing who
becoming.
you are. Yes.
Yes. It,
You
will-
have to know who
it
you
will
are.
drive you
Yes.
to the same point. You see, you go up, then you calm down. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that you cannot calm down, but you calm down. There is a kind of calm down that really highlights the danger of you belonging without becoming. But
Yes.
there's another one coming down where it needs you to learn about something again and correct it and then keep moving forward. So there is that
Exactly.
difference, and we feel it all the time.
Yes.
We feel it. So
Yes.
when children are valued only for performance, when they are valued only for compliance, when they are
Mm-hmm.
valued only for productivity, when they are valued only for roles they feel,
Mm-hmm.
huh, that is
Sorry.
dangerous.
They can become victims. They can become
Yes,
victims very easily, sister. That is
yes,
a danger. Yes.
yes. Very, very true. They become victims, and then
Very,
very dangerous. Even
very.
talking about self-image, they don't look at themselves like they are even worth it because we taught them to
Yes.
become first
Yes.
before
Yes.
becoming, and it's
Yes.
so hard because that's not the way we were built to reason, to work. So they learn to earn worth instead of embodying that worth, instead of becoming that worth.
Yep.
They learn to think that they're entitled to things instead of working and learning how to steward those things when they do when they are given those things. So this is very important. So one global movement says belonging without identity creates exhaustion. Do you see how sometimes we're exhausted? We want this, we want that, and then me myself, I become so exhausted. Then sometimes I just say, you know what, I'm going to rest right now. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
creates exhaustion disguised as devotion. No, we need
Yes.
to know, and your body is telling you, and our body tells us all the time, no, stop and take a break. Go do
Yes.
this. You just say, oh, I just want to finish this. I just want to finish it. And then you become exhausted and you think that you're devoting, then the next day or the next time, you didn't even understand what you were doing. So I have learned to really listen to myself and do the right thing. So this is how burnout begins early in us
Yes.
and in our children. Service
Mm-hmm.
becomes survival. Now you're just working to survive because a lot of people say, I'm just working to put bread
Food
on
on
the
the
table,
table.
food on the
Yeah.
table. But we are created to use our work, our jobs, our businesses, everything we do to serve. Don't just do it. Do it because that is who you were born and created to be or to do. Because if you just do it just because you want to earn a living, look at the chaos.
I
People,
know.
you're not treating them well like humans just because you want to get by. And
Yes.
we were not created to get by. We were created to thrive. But it starts from the roots. It starts from you becoming, not belonging first. So leadership
Yes.
loses integrity. We've seen it here. I'm sure we've experienced it a lot of times. When people
Yes.
they want to belong, they say, I have this, I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna do this in the world, I'm gonna do this. And then they did not become. They just want to belong to something that they did not work to become. And before you know it crumbles, it gets out of place,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see anger, frustration, resentment, threats, and whatever start coming out. And that is not a
Very
good
true.
way. So, one
Very
global
true.
movement calls the world to pause. Just pause, all of us. Let us just
Yes.
pause for a moment
Just pause.
and ask this question: what can we ask a child to do today? What can we ask a child with love and integrity and with providing the tools to do today? We should ask that question, but not who is this child going to belong to, or where is this child going to belong? Let us ask that question. Who is this child becoming, instead of where is this child going to belong? Or my child has this, my child is this. But did you train that? A grades are very good. All right. If you train your child well, they will have them. That is why we need to train them so that they earn those things, and then gradually, so that that foundation will never crumble if we do that. So it is so important. Sister, if you want to jump in, that's good too.
So, as we're talking about, excuse me, the basics, so we need to tell them that I value you, who you are becoming, more than what you are doing for this moment, this movement, this anything. You value the person for who they are, whatever that is. They might need to change or develop or whatever, but that does not matter. What they're doing is not as important as who they are as a separate, valued individual. We all have stuff that we can work on. We are works in progress, as it said. No one is perfect. So when we say that, the vacuum of pressure disappears and the space for authentic growth shows up. Because as I said, well developed identities make for strong, protected boundaries. And so this child, this young person, is less likely to become victimized or victimize others. As you say, some people, when they don't know who they are, they think they have to bully others, they think they have to run roughshod over people. But as we started off saying on this platform, I remember there's enough to go around. Nobody has to take from anybody else. So just because you are this doesn't mean that other person can't be as well. It's not only a few slots, as I said earlier, that are left for important people. We all came with purpose. Let's find out that is. And that is so grounding when we know who we are, right? When we know who we are, we don't have this flitting from place to place, looking at other people, trying to be that, trying to be this, because we know what we're bringing. Again, as I said, we know what we're bringing to the stage, the table, whatever you want to call the work. And so we can just keep focused and do what we are called to do. And that I think is going to be one of the saving things in this world, because one of the reasons the world is like this is because people think they have to grab from there and grab from there. And that's not how the world was meant to be. We all came with something, but the overarching idea is that we all came to serve. So just because somebody's serving there, that doesn't take anything from you. What you are bringing is also needed and valued.
Yep.
So that is why it's so important to know who and where you belong before you go out there and try to fit into a slot that somebody has said. Many people have worked in a job 30, 40 years that they initially hated. They started off hating it, but then they just settled. That is not a life well lived, right? They hate the job, but they just didn't feel the self-esteem or the confidence to go and look for what they know would suit them better. So those are unhappy people, and they tend to make others unhappy too. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, thank you so much. The only thing that I want to chip in now, as we're winding down time, is how identity is formed before it is named. Identity formed long before language can explain it. Long before. It forms through being seen without performing. Just be you without performing. Just like we keep repeating this, being corrected without any shame. But we who are correcting, we also have to correct with respect, not degrading people, and being included without conditions. We include all children without conditions, and children discover who they are when love is consistent. When you consistently, that doesn't mean that you don't have to reprimand your child. Of course, that is part of discipline. But when they see love, consistent love, then they know that they are included there. They're very early on in life. Boundaries are safe. All right. And we teach our children boundaries. You see a lot of abduction, child trafficking, whatever, because we never taught these children boundaries. I have a little scenario that I always like to talk about. When our son was very young, we wanted to see if somebody comes and knock at the door, he will open the door. So we arranged with other parents that have little children, and we did for our home. We also did for their home. So we came, we rang the bell, and my son came to the door, go like this. I said, God, hopefully he doesn't open this door, and
he did.
He's going like this. He pick up the phone. Mommy, some people are knocking.
Someone's
They
at
are
the
ringing
door.
the bell.
Yes. Yeah, I
So
love that.
yes, that is wonderful. And then we did it
Yes.
to the other family, and it's something that we did it repeatedly. You can't just do it once and let it
No,
be.
no, no. Of
And,
course.
and they
Yes.
almost abducted my son from school when he was done with school, waiting for us to pick him up.
Ah,
Somebody say, "Oh, your parents said I should pick you up." Oh, this and that. It means that person has been monitoring us. Okay. What my son did was he walked back into the school. I said, "Why didn't you report it to the teacher?" Because that is
yes.
how they come and they abduct children. And so this
Yes.
is very, very important. Identity is absorbed in atmosphere before it is claimed in words.
Yes.
And identity does not speak. It's what we cultivate uh, intentionally with love and persistence is very
Yes.
important. So, sister, I think that would be it for me. And if you have any other thing, that's fine. Otherwise, that'll be it for me for today.
So when we prioritize becoming before belonging, we ensure that when these young leaders eventually move on from us, we're talking about what we're doing here in One Global One, but anywhere that they're being formed, and they will eventually move on because they carry something unbreakable inside them. They won't be former members of any movement. They will be formed human beings ready to build their own movement. This is what
Yep.
we want for all these young people. So thank you, sister.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you, John. And thank you so much for all those beautiful, beautiful quotes. And I'm going to say something here. And I know that a lot of people might not like it because, in order to keep these very legal and just a private entity, I will ask that all of us, we just, when we come here, we come solely for one global movement. This is one global movement because more than 2,000 of the subscribers are from outside our own company on Passive. And therefore, in order to protect this so that we don't get in trouble, especially me, I will ask that we talk only about one global movement. We hashtag one global movement. We don't hashtag our old companies or people from the old company because I have been warned several times and I am working under the law. And so they go and they monitor what we do here. And so we don't want this thing to be shut down. That would be just, I don't know what to say. And then I will get in trouble.
Devastating, devastating, sister, devastating.
Um, not I don't hold anything against anybody. We all respect the old company. We all respect the founder or whatever, and we respect where we are going. But this is a separate entity. Anybody that comes here for one global movement and nothing else. Please, I don't want to get in trouble. They've been shutting down a lot of nonprofits. We don't want this one to be part of it. I've been warned not to do that, please, because they go and watch everything we do. So thank you guys so much for doing
Thank you,
that.
everyone.
And
Thank you.
yes. And so thank you guys, everyone who is here today. Roazehab, our sister, Mr. John Barilla, and our beautiful sister here,
Virginia,
uh,
Virginia
Virginia,
DeSanto.
the state of
Thank
Virginia.
you.
Thank you so much, Virginia. We love you. Thank you. And I realized that, okay, thank you so much. We've come to the end of today. If you didn't put that like button, please do so because we should be doing more. There are people that go and watch these videos. A million, okay? If you go there, you see some that watch it a lot. They always, and so they
Yes.
are commenting, they are hashtagging. So we here, we should even do better. So this is our StreamYard for anybody that wants to looking for a good platform to use. This is what we are using here. If you use it, you subscribe, they will send $10 to One Global Movement, which will help put food on the table for a family or buy or a textbook for a child. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again on Tuesday. Until then, we love you all.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Well, tomorrow is Friday, but you know what I mean.